trying a bit of a new look here in studio. I'm like at an IKEA. I'm like in the lobby of a cool, trendy hotel somewhere in the Midwest. Like it's very that vibe. But we're here. We're having a great time. Welcome to the show in our beautiful studio in California. We've got a packed one. We've got Baker Mayfield news. He's the starter. We'll get to that. We also have three-time Pro Bowler at safety Donte Whitner is on the show. So yeah, lots of the Ohio State talk on the way. He'll get me set for the season. I know nothing about the college game other than the fact that Ohio State's ranked number 3. Oh. Too high, too low? Well, to get his thoughts on that, Justin Fields, the Buffalo Bills, all of it, and Nick Scott. Bengals fans, let's go! He's a Super Bowl champion. He gets to hang out with Coach Lou all day in Cincinnati. I could not be more jealous of him. We'll have him on the show also. Bill Belichick busting hangs with Taylor Swift at the concert through the rain, calling her the toughest performer ever. Who are the toughest players he's ever coached? I got my top 5. And I think I'm leaving, I don't know, is Rodney Harrison off my list? Oh, let's get to it. Starter. This isn't a huge surprise. It's not breaking news by any account. It was between him and Trask. But, of course, they signed Baker to be the starter. I'm not saying it's a formality that he had to sort of win the job, but he had to win the job. It was hers to win. He did not lose it, right? It's his to win. So the Buccaneers saying time to bake. What up? We love that social media squad down there in Tampa making it happen. Listen, this is a good thing. I was talking to Hamilton before the show, right before this happened. He's like, do you want the asteroid or do you want like the earthquake? Like, no, we're excited for Baker because he is a guy who has some pedigree. He can take control of the offense, hopefully be a steady hand for this team. And let's not forget, like when he had to take over for a bit with the Rams, he had some juice. He brought that team some juice. And if he can do that, and I think he can because he had Cooper Kupp with the Rams, and now he's got other receivers like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin still there. Like, they did not leave. They've not abandoned the NFC South, which is, by the way, the biggest mystery division in all of sports. All 4 teams in the NFC South have new starters taken over. So you tell me, as we look at the FanDuel Sportsbook odds, it's anybody's game, right? Sure, Derek Carr, the most proven amongst them. We talked about this yesterday. Who is Desmond Ridder? We know who Arthur Smith is, though. We know Kyle Pitts. We know they might have the most athletic players on offense in their team. Carolina Panthers, also a bit of a mystery there. So with those sort of odds with the Buccaneers, some stability, I don't know, the fact that this is happening not a couple of days before the first game of the season, it's happening before the 3rd preseason game. I like this. It's some consistency now. We can stop sort of talking about it. We've talked to a lot of people about Baker. You know who we haven't heard from? Baker. You know who loves that? Me. I love that he's not talking. I like that he's not, I even said, I was like, maybe we can try to get him on the show. Maybe we can like make a deal and get him to be a guest on the show because we have not heard from him. That is a sign of I'm putting my head down. I'm working because I'm aware, I'm speaking for Baker now. And there's the boat. There's the orcs. The battle for Helm's Deep is about to begin here in the middle of the night. Did you guys hear that out there? Tweet me at Up and Adam Show.
We're at a Vikings game.
Goldfarb is like, we're at a Vikings game. We're also, why don't you like my Lord of the Rings thing? You keep saying it's a boat. Will you just play the Lord of the Rings orc game with me? Okay. Wasn't there a big horn in the Battle of Helm's Deep? Right? I don't know. Okay, but we're not going to talk about that for too much longer. But if I'm Baker, let me just wrap it with this. This is my last shot, probably, at being a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Like, it'll be tough sledding if this doesn't work out. So if you're Baker, you are shutting up. You're not blowing horns or whatever's going on in the studio right now, and you're trying to make it happen. So good luck to him, and congratulations to Baker. And, yeah, maybe, like, what's up? Like, you what? Want to come on the show? Want to make a little deal? I'd like to hear from him week in, week out on the program. All right, now last night, let's get to it. It finally happened. The Ravens' NFL record, 24-game preseason win streak was snapped last night. I couldn't care less. I literally, I do not care about this at all. But I care about both sides as a result of storylines to follow here. So Joey Sly hitting the 49-yard game winner in the 4th quarter for the Commanders. We got Josh Harris finding some people who are actually trying to shake his hand. He got some practice up in the booth with Buck earlier, which was incredible. I watched that 1,000,000 times. And then Washington came away with the 29-28 win. I literally was watching that clip. I was going to watch The Bear. Have you seen The Bear?
Yes.
I've never seen it. From Chicago, I should watch it. It was literally prescribed to me to see, I should watch it for my life. And I didn't because I spent my entire bedtime ritual watching the Joe Buck non-handshake.
The weird handshake. I mean, it's Italian beefs or weird handshakes. I'm going to go with the weird handshake every time.
I was very into it, but listen, I'm gonna dig in more. This is a very weird. Can we just show him again, Derek? We're trying to like make something happen here. There's like a splash of light behind you. It's very funny. It's all great. It's all great. We're figuring it out. You know, it's our preseason too. We got one more game, one more week, and then we start the real thing. Streaming on YouTube. All right, I'm gonna dig in more to both sides of this game in a moment, but I do want to talk about Sam Howell. We're going to clip this for Twitter. I want to talk about my friend, Sam Howell. Ron Rivera, I mean, come on. He gave him the starting offense the entire first half of this one. It was so fun to watch, and he could not have been more on point. And I'm well aware it's preseason, so save the comments, but I don't know what else we could have wanted to see for him to sort of prove what he can do, his ability to be a capable starter in this league, and maybe the future. All this team wants, all these fans told me at camp was like, did we find our quarterback? Guess what? You did. And sure, Eric Bieniemy deserves some credit here, and he's play calling there, and he's running a tough camp, and there's a lot of accountability and all of that. But Sam Howell had to go out there and execute, and he did. 19 for 25 for $188, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He was accurate. He showed poise, escapability in the pocket. He got the ball in the hands of the guys like Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin, the captain, and let them make plays. He was on pace to rack up over 400 yards of total offense, guys, and 4 touchdowns if you extrapolated that to the course of an entire game. And I don't expect him to be that every single week against regular season competition, but how can you not be impressed? And I like that people are celebrating him. People are going, ho, putting up the wolf emojis and all of that. We're into it, okay? This franchise, I'm going to say, less of a question for me after last night that they might have found the quarterback to build around. It's been the question. And one that Sam, by the way, very aware of. Listened to my best friend as we talked and met each other and got to know each other a few weeks ago. I asked the fans all morning, what will success be for your team this year? Tough NFC East, all of that. And a lot of people answered, just show us that we found our quarterback. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this organization's kind of been searching for a stable quarterback, and you know I'm gonna give this team, this organization, everything I got and try to be that guy. And I personally feel like I can be that guy. So yeah, I mean they're gonna get everything I got. They're gonna get my best, and I'm gonna try to do everything I can to help this team win.
I'm not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, people, okay? I'm not saying that he's going to be the best thing ever, but I will say that with what they have around him, and people are going to think, people a couple weeks ago were like, you're crazy, you're saying this might be the most talented wide receiver trio in the whole game with Jahan Dotson, McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, his, of course, connection from college as well, who he connected with last night in the preseason action. Like, he's got what it takes. He's got Chase Young healthy in a contract year on the other side, trying to get paid and be DPOY and snatch it from his old teammate, Bosa. Like, NFC East fans, like if you're the only people that are allowed to hate on Sam Howell at this point are if you're a Cowboys fan, a Giants fan, Eagles fan, I get it. You should be like, I don't like him because he's going to be good. I think he's going to be great this season and great for this team as they take this awesome celebratory step, and I'm riding with them really all season and into the future because it's really exciting, and the vibes were the highest at that camp among the ones I got to visit this season. All right, now, as for the Ravens side of things, valiant effort without Lamar in there. Zay Flowers, I mean, when does this kid not put on a show when he's healthy out there? The touchdown. This was awesome. I'm just going to let it speak. He looked incredible. All offseason he has. The touchdown was wild, but it wasn't enough to keep the streak alive. I don't think we'll ever see anything like this streak again, so I did want to look back and put it into perspective. To be honest, I didn't want to. The producers wanted to. I could not. I don't know why I don't care. I don't care at all. It's a preseason. I want to see, like, it doesn't matter. I never know the final scores. I never care about that. But these 24 straight wins did happen over the course of nearly 8 years, and that's weird, and so we embrace it, okay? Here's some of the other things that were going on the last time the Ravens lost a preseason game. All right, the song was Cheerleader. Oh, okay, I like that. Movie. I mean, would you like to sing that on television, Goldfarb? Because it sounds beautiful in my ear, the dulcet tones of Mr. Goldfarb. Number one movie was Straight Outta Compton. That wasn't that long ago. In fact, it wasn't that long ago.
Like yesterday.
Yeah, and on that date, a federal judge vacated the what game suspension that the NFL imposed on Tom Brady for Deflategate. Why are we bringing up Deflategate? Goldfarb, who are you a fan of? What's your NFL team of note? Cleveland. All right, he's a Cleveland fan. I was going to say, clearly you're like a Jets fan or something that you decided to put that up on the old full screen. Beautiful full screen, by the way. I like that font. New graphics 2023. Let's see. Hamilton was starting to take over on Broadway. Not our Hamilton, that Hamilton. Ariana Grande just split with Big Sean. That was the start of things to come. And Hotline Bling memes were all the rage online. I kind of remember that. All right, that's fine. So that's what happened. This is a big deal, okay? We're putting it into perspective. I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago. You got to give credit, though, to John Harbaugh, right? Former GM Ozzie Newsome, current GM Eric DaCosta, who I have an on and off relationship with, very tumultuous. It's up and down with me and DaCosta. But they've been, it takes a lot because I don't care. I don't care, and I love this stuff. So to get them to care, it's truly a feat, right? To create, to sustain, to keep a consistent competitive environment, to keep this ridiculous streak possible that players are talking about it. Like, it's pretty incredible, right? And maybe this streak ending leads us to, it had to end for good things to happen for Baltimore, right? This team is loaded, and they're definitely going to be a threat this year. And finally, I'd like to touch on this. Jonathan Taylor situation. This is the most unexpected storyline of all. Just the way that this has spiraled out of control. And it did get a little bit more interesting last night. The Colts reportedly granted JT permission to seek a trade. He was asking for a trade heading into camp, if you'll remember, and Irsay was adamant that the team wouldn't give in. But it seems like it's finally happening. ESPN reporting the Colts want a first-round pick or a boatload. I think that was the quote, the word he used. A boatload of other picks, journalism, equal to a first rounder. So I don't know how realistic that type of return is for a running back who's entering a contract year, but I do think there will be plenty of interest. I was doing my, hey, coach, interested in eyeball emojis? Here, JT's available. Didn't get much back yet, so we'll see, but we are hearing the Dolphins are expected to get involved. I like that. And then you're like, man, what the heck is this division, right? Because then you have Taylor with Tyreek, Waddle, around Tua, who's learning how to fall gracefully all of a sudden. Like, it's nice. It would be pretty awesome. The Bills, he's been brought up there as well. I'll ask Dante Whitner about this. Like, Jonathan, would that tip the scales? Is that the big need? Remember, Von Miller told us when we were at camp, running back not a need. They don't want Dalvin. They don't want, they feel set with Dalvin's relative. Like, they're fine. So Von was saying that that's not a huge need for the Bills squad. It'd be interesting to see. It could be a game of keep away. You have to consider that, remember. Like, maybe we don't really need him, but we want to keep him away from somebody else in the division if it really is between Miami and Buffalo. Now, the Cowboys, guys, will be interesting. Jerry Jones, do you think he's going to sit there with $19 million cap space and not take a look at adding an all-pro to the roster? That's nice. And we still know he has and values the running back position. Jerry always has and will. And the Cowboys franchise Tony Pollard, but he's coming off an injury and has never carried a full workload before. So the 1-2 punch would be pretty special. And really the whole offense would be, right? I don't know if there would be a deeper group of skill players, guys, in the league if Dallas made this happen. Jerry, windows closing. None of us are getting any younger. You know what time it is, NFC wide open. Can I see that full screen again? It's so pretty. Guys, look at our new graphics. Do you like our new graphics? Look at that. Bang, bang. I think it looks great. But honestly, tell me, Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, is there a deeper skill set situation in the NFL? Clip it off. Put it on Twitter, X? I can't even say it anymore. Put it on Twitter. You have to say X. Taylor Few, do your thing. Okay, and the other team I want to bring up is the Bears because we like Khalil Herbert. We haven't seen that much of Deontay Foreman. He's definitely still a factor there. It'll be a little 1-2 punch situation. But, hey, Bears, this is Jonathan Taylor we're talking about. And then I like to make the cute connections, right? Eberflus, okay? He's got history with Matt. He was the DC in Indy during the majority of Taylor's little stint there. And I feel like if the Bears really want to do everything they can to support Justin Fields, this is the move I'm making, right? They have, let's take a look. They have $16 million to play with right now. That's kind of funny money, okay? Go make the move. And I think we see those odds flip in a hurry. I might be picking Chicago to win the division regardless. We'll see. But a deal for JT cements it for me. And by the way, a little disrespectful to Justin Fields that he's at the bottom of that full screen when we have so little knowledge of Jordan Love, what that's going to look like. Just a little disrespect going on there that I will ask also Dante Whitner of the Ohio State about coming up. Now, I've got a special fun thing to tell you. Thursday, we are again rolling out our Profit Boost token. It's like a gift card. We'll have a category for a futures bet. We'll put it out there. It'll be in your email. You can opt in, but you can it's like a Thursday thing. You guys got to do that. And that's Thursday, and today is Tuesday, so you know what time it is. I'm a baseball girly. I live at Dodger Stadium. Turn dingers into dollars. All baseball season long. Dinger Tuesdays on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Just bet $25 or more on any player to hit a home run and get $5 in bonus bets for every homer hit by either team. As if you need another reason to root for your favorite players to go yard. Mookie Betts, pretty safe bet. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and get on all the MLB action today. Hey, Willie Adames, is he a safe bet? No! What's going on with Willie Adames?
I don't know if we can bring it up, man. It's one of those things, man. The Brewers, we're saying it first. We just swept the Rangers.
Okay.
We swept the Rangers, but got swept by the Dodgers.
All right, well, we got Donte Whitner on the show. Listen to me, 3-time Pro Bowler. We have got a guy, he wants to talk a little college ball. He's doing his thing for CBS. Oh, he's dressed too nicely for this morning show. Clean ourselves up, Eric. We gotta go. Let's go put on suits after this. Donte Whitner joining the show.
Off the play fake. Leftwich. Can't find anyone. Now throws. It is picked off by Donte Whitner. And Whitner is going to take it all the way for a Bills touchdown. 76 yards.
Just bring him in, please. I need to see him face as he reacts to the first career interception for a touchdown. Donte Whitner, what does it feel like watching that?
It feels awesome. And then a lot of times when I watch it now, I'm thinking, man, I can't believe I did that for so long, right? When I wake up in the morning and my back is aching, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. But it's great to see that.
Donte, you've got 3 Pro Bowls to show for it. You've got a career as an analyst now. You obviously have been with so many teams, the Bills, the Niners, safety for the Browns and Commanders. You're a first-round pick out of the Ohio State. So I want to start with this, though. You know, I was excited about when I heard you were coming on. And I thought, did that Hittner thing ever happen? Because you wanted to change your name. And I was here for the Hittner merchandise. I wanted to buy it.
I was just being a rebel, right? I was being a rebel. I was a little fed up from getting those $40,000 fines in the mail every week, right? So it was my way of almost lashing out against the NFL. But then when I heard I had to change everything that was in my name, from bank accounts to homes that I own, cars, I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'll just, keep the nickname. I won't go ahead with the whole transformation.
I'm going to call you Hittner, though, just between you and me. You were one of the best safeties in all of the Ohio State history, and there's only 4 more days until college football starts. I know nothing, but I heard that there's some drama with Kyle McCord, Devin Brown, quarterback competition. Who's coming out on top, Donte?
Well, I don't think anybody knows. I know that Buckeye Nation would like to know like everybody else, but something worries me about not having a definite starter heading into the season. I know that you have a lot of NIL deal stuff that goes on with players that aren't named the starter. They might take offense to being named the backup and want to transfer. But I think that if you have championship aspirations, you have to figure out who your starting quarterback is, who's going to be the leader of this team, or it could be a wasted season. So hopefully they can name the starting quarterback sooner than later.
They're ranked number 3. Is that fair given the quarterback situation, or should they be higher?
I think they possibly should be lower. And then when I look at the defense, for the past few years, I've been extremely disappointed with the production on defense, and in particularly the secondary, right? Guys giving up big plays and bad moments, bad technique, right? So that's just not Ohio State lineage. That's not the standard. So if this team is going to go anywhere, it's going to be from the defense stepping up and getting back to playing Ohio State defense.
That's how you can take care of Georgia, finally, hopefully. Donte Whitner joining us. I like the, you're keeping it real. I thought you were going to puff up and say Ohio State should be ranked number 1. Well, I love this, but now let's take it over to the NFL, the world I'm a little bit more comfortable in, and talk about one of your Ohio State products in Justin Fields. And I was just talking about him. He looks good. They've got DJ Moore, all of that, but they're still being projected as a bottom-of-the-barrel NFC North squad this year, below Jordan Love, who's more unknown to us than Justin Fields is. Is that fair to Justin Fields?
I think it is fair. When you look at the way the Chicago Bears performed last year, and particularly on offense, how they couldn't keep drives together and get into the end zone, the number of turnovers, yes, Justin Fields had a great year rushing and running the football. But when he's back there behind center, I don't see the true full command. Now, I could be wrong. Think about how everybody looked at the Philadelphia Eagles last year and Jalen Hurts. They didn't believe in Jalen Hurts. They didn't believe in the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a similar quarterback to Justin Fields, a mobile guy, similar offense. So maybe they can tailor the offense more so around Justin Fields so that they can have that productivity that Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles have. So if they can do that and tailor it around him, they can have success. If not, and just expect him to be a drop-back quarterback, I don't see them having success.
I mean, I think DJ Moore is we're all hoping, I'm a Chicago girl, we're all hoping he is the big difference because he's now part of that offense that's catered around him. And the other thing is we don't know Jordan Love either. We don't know what that looks like there with him. So there's a bit of unknown all around in the NFC North. Here, Justin Fields isn't somehow on this list I'm going to show you. But here's a list of former Buckeye Pro Bowlers, Dante, that are active in the league. Anybody stick out to you? It's a really fun list.
Joey Bosa, he always sticks out. He's the big brother to Nick Bosa. So the Bosa twins, absolutely. And then Marshawn Lattimore, who is from my high school in Cleveland, Ohio, Glenville High School, Ohio State, followed to Ohio State, and now he's one of the top corners in the league. And then I have to go with Denzel Ward because, you know, I'm from Cleveland. He's a Cleveland guy. He plays for the Cleveland Browns, and he's somewhere in the top 10. My last guy to shout out is Michael Thomas. He's been through trials and tribulations over the past few years with injuries and not getting along with the coaching staff. I'm expecting him to have a bounce back year and potentially win comeback player of the year.
Wait, I love to hear that. And both, you know, two of those guys you shouted out are on the Saints, and that division's, you know, they just named Baker Mayfield the starter of Tampa. But I mean, I would hope with Derek Carr and Michael Thomas. I was with Sean Payton just last week. Somehow Michael Thomas kept coming up in the conversation because he's such a prolific talent, and hopefully we can get the best out of him somehow. We'd love to see it. Now, I understand you are coming to us from the Bay Area. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yay area. Yay area.
Okay, the Yay area. I don't know if I can call it that. Okay, the Yay area. But let's talk about these Niners when we're talking about quarterback competitions and what's going on or what might not be going on. Listen, there has been seemingly no better publicist for Brock Purdy than you. I was reading last year that you'll say that he's going to, if he leads his team to a Super Bowl, which he can, he'll be the second coming of Tom Brady. Like, are you in on Brock Purdy 2023?
Absolutely. 7th round draft pick, won 10 consecutive games last year to lead the 49ers deep into the playoffs. And if he plays the entire game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, we might be saying that the San Francisco 49ers were the 2022 NFL champions. I mean, I really believe that. When you look at his time at Iowa State, it was a 4-year starter. He was all Pac-12, I believe, for his final 2 years. And then the opportunity last year wasn't too big for him. They didn't ask him to force the ball downfield into coverage. They leaned on what they do well, and that's run the ball with consistency and physicality. And then when they did ask him to throw the ball downfield, it was a lot of easy throws. And having that 4 years in college of starting, of being the man, of going through week to week and day-to-day preparation, prepare him for that moment. So I believe they're going to start fast. He looks well in practice. He's fully healed from the UCL injury in his elbow. So I'm expecting the 49ers to be one of the top teams in the NFC this year.
What's holding them back? Like, what would be the one, if we're all in on the quarterback and we got the backup, whether it's Trey, whether it's Sam Darnold, what would be the one concern?
Injuries. They don't have a fully developed roster right now. They're pretty top heavy. When you look at the 8 out of the top 100 players in the top NFL last year, the 49ers have 8 of those guys. That's 8% of the top players in the NFL is on the 49ers roster in the top 22. But when you look and you go deeper into the roster, they don't have much experience. They don't have guys that have actually started games, prepared throughout a week, and played winning style football. So they're going to have to stay healthy. And one of the guys in particular is McCaffrey. McCaffrey is a guy who can possibly, in a Kyle Shanahan system for an entire year, can possibly have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 receiving, which will be an incredible feat in an already incredible career.
You know, the more you talk about what's going on with the offense and your faith in Brock Purdy, the more I think they should trade Trey Lance. Do you?
I think that they should trade Trey Lance, but what type of value do you get for him right now? Do you take a 6th-round pick and just cut ties with him? I don't really think so. I think that in Kyle Shanahan's system, you need a really good second quarterback, right? And we've seen over the past years, they've had Nick Mullins, they've had C.J. Beathard, and these guys came in and they couldn't keep the ship afloat, right, when Jimmy Garoppolo went down with injury. So they need a second quarterback and possibly a third quarterback. Last year in the playoffs, deep, when, you know, everything was on the line, you see Brock Purdy go out with an injury, and then they put a quarterback in there who had been on the roster for 1 week, and they couldn't move the ball or even get a first down. They have the talent around the quarterback position. They're built the proper way with the offensive and defensive line. They have 2 of the top linebackers, 1 and 2 in the NFL, and an all-pro safety. I think the 49ers are really the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and I mean, you can say that what do they get back for that, but there's also the point that they would save $9 million over the next 2 years. If they do make that, they can add depth somewhere else. And Sam Darnold, as we've seen, you know, can maybe handle himself in this backup role. Hopefully, like you're saying, everybody stays healthy. Now, we got to get into your Bills. There's rumors they might be looking at adding Jonathan Taylor. I'd like your thoughts on that, because you're talking about the Super Bowl favorite. What's to keep it from being the Niners and the Bills in the big game?
Running the ball and running it with consistency in the fourth quarter in 4-minute situations. 4-minute situations are, we know we have the ball, we have to retain it and knock as much time off the clock to win those close games in the playoffs. You cannot continuously put the ball in Josh Allen's hands in those moments. We've seen him fail in those moments. A running game in Buffalo makes them the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. And then on defense, when you get a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who 2 years ago had 1,800 yards rushing and 18 touchdowns, right? Last year he had a drop-off in production, but when you put that type of guy in this offense, now you have to pick your poison. Do you play coverage and be soft and allow Jonathan Taylor to run the ball because you have Diggs and those guys running through the defense? Or do you allocate more guys into the box and let those guys eat outside and go one-on-one? So if I'm going to say it right now, if the Bills get Jonathan Taylor, they're Super Bowl champions.
Go trade for him.
I'm telling you, Super Bowl champions if they get him.
If they get him, they need a bit of. It's so funny because I was up there at camp and Von Miller was like, it was before Dalvin signed, and there was rumors about Dalvin either going to Miami or the Bills, and Von was like, we don't need a running back, we're good. But they need a run game.
Absolutely, you can expect Josh Allen to drop back and throw the ball 40 times and score 40 points every week. At some point, defensive coordinators and defenses catch up with every offense in NFL history, right? They're studying you in the offseason. You need a way to counterattack these defenses and run the ball, run it with consistency, and take a lot of those throws and mistakes out of Josh Allen's hands.
Really well said, man. Dante, you are bringing it today. We appreciate you so much. And I mean, you're not even focused on the NFL right now. You are focused on college football, which is starting very soon. You guys can see Dante Whitner on CBS covering the game. Give me like a real quick college football prediction on your way out.
I think that Georgia and Ohio State will end up in the national championship. I think the Ohio State defense will get back to the standard that we're used to and accustomed to. A lot of young players over the past few years, and I think that this is their time, right? Last year, we made some noise. It was like 1 year early. I think that this year we're right on time. So the defense can play well. We can finally bring the chip back to Columbus.
Amazing. Dante, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the time this morning. And I'm sure Bills fans are going to love hearing that they are Super Bowl bound and they're going to start some sort of GoFundMe to get Jonathan Taylor where he belongs, which is, of course, in Buffalo for this season. Wow, things are changing and shifting so much right now in the NFL. It's amazing. We're going to be back with, there's another team in the AFC that's like, whoa. We've been to the Super Bowl. This guy won one with the Rams, and now he's saying, let's go back with the Bengals. Nick Scott on the show after this. Don't go anywhere.
I'm the man.
Nick Scott.
Samuel gets blown off. Kittle got popped. Nick Scott has it for the Rams.
all that work, and what does he have to show for it? A Super Bowl ring. Yes, Nick Scott spent 4 seasons with the LA Rams, and now he's doing his thing with the Cincinnati Bengals, which must be kind of awkward, right, Nick? Is it awkward?
It started out a little awkward. I'll say this. I never brought up the Super Bowl. Some of my teammates did, and they wanted to talk about it. So to each their own. Some guys don't talk about it. Some guys do. But it's all good now.
Who talked about it?
Who's the first person to ask me about it? Mike Thomas, safety.
Yeah.
We were sitting at dinner with the DBs, and there was a little bit of a silence after a conversation, and Mike just broke the silence. He said, "Nick, I gotta ask, like, how did it feel?"
Yeah.
I said I wasn't gonna bring it up, but it was one of the best days of my life.
I wouldn't. I was just there. I'm sad I didn't get to hang out with you when I was at camp, but I talked to Orlando Brown Jr. and I was like, and he said, and he's huge, like the biggest guy in the world. Like I'm the size of one of his legs, and he said, I'm scared. I don't talk about it. I'm scared. I'm not bringing it up. I'm not bringing my ring around here. I'm not doing anything because obviously it's a bit of a sensitive subject because this team you're on right now, my friend, is loaded for bear. They're ready to go and win a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's healing. The Bengals defense, obviously 6th-ranked scoring D last year. How crazy is your coach, Lou? He's crazy.
Oh man, he's crazy, but he's a defensive mastermind. I mean, he's so unpredictable in like the most calculated way possible. So it's been a lot of fun just playing and learning under him. I'm excited to see what he draws up for this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put this out there because I'm close with the Bengals fan base. They're not going to like this, but does Lou have that head coach vibe to him?
Yeah, but we like him where he is right now.
You always know. You're like, no, he's not. He would be a terrible head coach. Wink, wink. I love that. Everybody can tweet the show at Up and Adam Show. I have big Bengals fans, of course, following along here. Listen, you're part of a new look secondary. You're only in your 5th year, but you walk into this room, into these dinners, and these are kids, right? You've got these young DBs like Cam Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill, who I'm expecting big things from, Jordan Battle out of Bama. How are you navigating being the new guy and the OG at the same time?
Yeah, it's definitely new territory. Like you said, it's only my 5th year in the league, which is a huge blessing. But, I'm just trying to, give these guys game the best that I can and also take some away from them because these guys are young, but they've had a lot of experience in this league. We got great leaders in the room already. So I'm just trying to follow their lead and, add on to that secondary from a leadership standpoint as well as a physical standpoint.
Here's what you do, Nick. You take them into the DB room or wherever you guys hang out, and you put your feet up on the desk, okay? And you say, sit back and watch these 2 plays, and you just shut up because you're going to show them these. Talk me through. First, this Patrick Mahomes interception. Go.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great play, obviously, by our rush getting him out of the pocket. And after that, just playing free safety and following his eyes. And I don't know if he was trying to no-look me or something, but I was just watching his eyes the whole way. And, he gave me a little bit of a gift, so I appreciate him for that. I know the Bengals fans like that one, though. They're not too happy about it.
And then you go, this is how I want you to sit. I want you to sit and be like, Coach Lou, I got this. And then you're going to go, all right, you guys like any questions about that Mahomes pick? No. And then you're going to go, and here's this one. You and Tom Brady, go.
Yeah. Tom Brady, look, I had a lot of help from Eric Weddle that play all season. We had talked about this play. We had a feeling it might come up. Saw the ball in the air.
You're covering Gronk.
It's all good. No, yeah, he's the GOAT for sure, but I got a lot of confidence in my talents in my grasp. So it was, another good play. Just blessed to be in that position.
Right. So now you go up against Joe Burrow, and I know it's new, and I know I got hurt. What sets him apart from even going up against those 2 GOATs that you picked off?
Oh man, I would say Joe Burrow. He's not afraid to make any throw. Like he can throw his receivers open. And he really challenged you as a DB to make the play. And I mean, when you got the guys that he has and TB and Uno and T. Higgins and all those guys, I mean, Trenton Irwin, all those guys, they make contested catches. So he's got a lot of faith in them. So he's going to put it out there and make the DBs make a play.
Did you ever pick him off yet?
Joe Burrow? No, not yet. Not yet.
How are you going to get him?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think as long as I go against him in the season, I'll have plenty of picks on some other quarterbacks that matter on game day. So if I get him, I get him. If not, more power to him.
Take me back to that Super Bowl. Just you and me talking. Your team won't watch this. They're too busy watching tape on other things. What sort of stuck out to you, maybe even about facing Joe Burrow? Like, what's the memory or the vibe, even if you can explain it, from the Super Bowl that you won with the Rams?
Man. Obviously being in that situation, I mean, everything's heightened, like your senses and everything like that. Like, I remember being so juiced up, like the first play when I made my break, I felt like I was about to burst out of my shoe. Like, that's how juiced up I was. But after that stuff kind of calms down. The thing that really stood out to me about the Bengals especially is just, how young they were as a team, but how cool, calm, and collected they were. Like, the stage wasn't too big for anybody on that squad. And they were playing hard, and, they were, trying to win, playing to win, not playing to not lose, because nobody has expected them to be there at that point. But they came out flying and made it known early that they were supposed to be there. So I was impressed with them from start to finish.
I have this theory because I'm a huge Bengals supporter. I love this team. I'm so excited that they were counted out and got their loss, but they still. I have this theory because I've never met Joe Burrow, and I've met his parents. I've met people around him. I feel like I've met his accountant, like his landscaper. I've never met Joe Burrow, and I have this working theory that nobody really talks to Joe Burrow because everyone says like the same one or two things about him. He keeps to himself. Like, I have a feeling like he does not talk. Do you feel like you have a relationship with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an early relationship, but he's bouncing around the locker room talking to guys. He's playing card games with the DBs. He's on the ping pong table when he's mobile. So, I mean, it's clear that he has a relationship with a lot of guys on the team. And, our relationships is growing. So I'm excited about him. And he's not as I guess, quiet or to himself as a lot of the people on the outside think or see. I think he's just got his circle or knit or teammates that he kind of rocks with. So it's good to see him be social.
I love that. When I was there, I sat down with Jamar Chase, who's obviously in Joe's inner circle since back in the day. They have crazy chemistry, and it's like a huge part of this offense and why the team's successful. But I'm sitting with him, and I'm like, you're 23, and you are like a leader on this team. And it really stuck out to me, just really impressive. But he must be a nightmare to deal with. What's he like?
Oh, yeah, you said it, nightmare to deal with. I dealt with him, in the Super Bowl, and he was making plays. And he's making plays every day out in practice, and he's making guys better. The thing about him, you mentioned him being 23 and still being a leader on that team. That's as true as it is. I mean, I remember one of the first days I was there, we were having conversations already about how people play him and what he's used to seeing and what I'm doing and how that correlates and how it helps and how I can help them get better and everything like that and vice versa. So his presence is tremendous and has a huge impact on his team on the field, obviously, but even bigger impact as a leader.
Is he slept on among the elite wide receivers in the National Football League, you think?
I don't think so. Just how I looked at him and how people looked at him when I was on a different team. Everybody, from what I know, is hyper aware of Jamar Chase's talent and ability. Maybe slept on by the media and people outside of the football realm, but everybody that dresses up on Sunday knows exactly what he can do, knows he's a threat, and he's a problem. And, I'm expecting him to have another big year.
Take me back quickly before we let you go to this young DB group, because I do have questions, right? I was out there, with my binoculars on, eating my Grater's ice cream at camp, and I'm like, Dax Hill, Cam, where are you? Shout somebody out. Who is looking really great? Like, I know, and just in the whole secondary, Awuzie, I'm hoping big things from him. Is there somebody that you're like, oh?
I would say Dax Hill definitely jumps out. Cam Taylor-Britt, Tyson Anderson is a guy who's been showing up in the preseason game, had those 2 picks, but just those young guys, coming on the stage. I know Cam got in the season a little bit later after an injury, and Dax kind of worked in here and there. But, I'm expecting big things from those guys. They've been sponges. They've been soaking everything up in this defense and really learning it, but also going out and making plays. And one of the things I love about Cam is he doesn't shy away from anybody. Like when he's in practice, he wants all of Chase trying to get better that way, or T or whoever. He doesn't shy away. So love his competitive nature. And then Dax has just been growing from a mental standpoint. We already know what he can do physically. So I'm excited about those two guys for sure.
The only person I have more questions about on that team, and I like your perspective because you come from the Rams and Sean McVay, who I feel like I know because he's who he is. Zach Taylor, give me, what are your, being a Sean McVay guy, and I know that you are, what are your impressions of Zach Taylor, who's, obviously they come from the same world, but a little different?
Yeah. I'd say Zach Taylor is very, cool, calm, and collected, very level-headed. He's like this the whole time. He's never too high. He's never too low. And that's great for players to be able to follow that, because there's going to be highs and lows in the game. There's going to be highs and lows in practice. There's going to be highs and lows during the season. So when you have somebody that's like a steady rock and can kind of just continue to coach through tough times or good times, that's great.
You're basically saying Sean McVay is a maniac. That's basically, by saying all of that about Zach, that's and Sean McVay is not that.
not in a bad way, but Sean McVay, he can be expressive for sure.
Yeah. Do you go? Listen, I was doing my research on Nick. You were a dual threat quarterback. You were a dual threat athlete, like a quarterback in high school. Then you were a running back at Penn State, Saquon Miles, the whole vibe. Then you changed to safety. Are you going up to Zach Taylor and saying, look, listen, I can do all these things. Let's have some fun?
Yeah, I'm sure they know. Maybe I do need to say something, but I'm sure they know. They've seen some of the film. I got a career touchdown at Penn State, so it can be done. I can run the ball. I can throw the ball a little bit. So, if they're listening, I'm ready and willing. Plug me in anywhere. Yeah, I just love that it's like Saquon, Miles, and then you you can play all over that. Zach, Zach and Lou. Y'all need to have a meeting together with Nick. We got to have some amazing trick play action. And I'd like to see it, because I'd like to see this team in the Super Bowl. Nick, you're so awesome. I'm so excited for you. A young veteran, you're 5 years in and you're running the show over there. Good luck this season. We'll be rooting for you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Kay.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. We'll be back after this. We had Dante Whitner on the show. We loved meeting Nick Scott and getting to know him a little bit. That smile sort of says it all. I love that he's in that locker room. And after this, the guy who smiles more than anyone, Bill Belichick. Let's get to it. Him, Taylor Swift, toughest players. Gronk has to make the list. Who doesn't make the list after this? Back with Hammer. Where is he? I said bring him in. There he is, Hammy. My current obsession right now is watching these TikToks and Instagram videos of all the players walking and telling what their favorite Taylor Swift song is. And some of them are and some of them love it and are reciting love story from top to bottom. It's amazing. And then this happened yesterday. Bill Belichick, it was made the rounds. He went to Gillette and saw Taylor Swift, and he said, that was pretty impressive. She's tough. Man, she just stood out there and played right through it. Damn Skippy, she's tough, and we love her. But the word tough does not fly out of this man's mouth lightly. Especially, you got to think about the gravity behind saying that. He's coached the toughest players in the National Football League over decades of years. So, first of all, 3 hours at a concert for Bill, and maybe Linda was there. We don't know. We love Linda Holiday on the program. Where would you take him if you could spend 3 hours with him? We asked Twitter, what do you think?
So I was thinking about this yesterday, because I just got asked by my wife if I want to take my niece and nephew. Her sister got tickets to Yankees Old Timers Day, which I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's where all the old Yankees come back and they play in a fake game, and then it's followed by a real game against the Brewers. So it's a 9-hour day at the ballpark with a 5 and a 6-year-old. I don't think that's going to be the best experience for them. But I would love to go with Bill Belichick. He's going to have great stories about all the old Yankees, because he's going to know the entire history of everything. And, he'll appreciate the experience. A 5 and a 6-year-old, I'm not sure they're fully going to get that.
Like, just to sit there and watch Jorge Posada eating a $90 hot dog? No, thank you. I'm not into that. I'd go to Costco. I hate going to Costco. I think he'll have a game plan. That parking lot in LA is horrifying, trying to go to Costco. I think he'll have a game plan. Buying him some new, off-brand clothing would be fun. And I just feel like the samples, the whole bit. Remember him watching the popcorn at the combine, just like walking around the aisles with Bill is what I'd like to do. And I'd like to be dressed like that. Horrifying Photoshop. All right, Hammy, here's what I want to do, because it got me thinking about toughness of players. And Bill Belichick called Taylor Swift tough, her performance tough. And it's really hard to narrow down who are the toughest players that Bill Belichick has coached in 23 years with the Patriots. So here it is, top 5 toughest Patriots under Bill Belichick. At 5, I'm gonna go Ty Law, okay? NFL Hall of Famer, anchor of the defense. Won Bill Belichick's first 3 Super Bowls. He helped out big time. He holds the record for most interceptions in Pat's history with 38. He's incredible, so I'm going to go with him. And Willie McGinnis said he was the best defensive player he's ever played with. That's saying a lot. So I'm going to go with our guy, Ty Law. Coming in at number 4. This might be too low on the list. Gronkowski, our friend, Rob, okay? Just because of the big black arm brace. I'm just giving it to him here. He broke the same arm twice, people, in 2012, right? The same arm twice in the season. The Patriots trusted Gronk to dominate in the run game, holding his own against, crazy defensive linemen in the passing game, despite constantly dealing with painful injuries. Okay, do not make me pull up the Sergio Brown clip again. He was throwing people out of the club while he was soy de fiestaing. He's a tough player. At number 3, I'm going to go with the guy who threw Gronk out of the club once, and that's Vince Wilfork. I love him. I mean, this is the guy who gave Gronk a welcome to the NFL moment. Okay, that's what Gronk told us last week. He was so dominant. I mean, insane gap player in NFL history come on. The toughness to take on 2 300-pound offensive linemen by yourself play after play is insane. He tore his Achilles tendon, okay, in 2013, and that's an injury that kills people, takes them out of the NFL forever, and he comes back and plays 16 games the next year, okay? 5 Pro Bowls, 4-time All-Pro honors. Vince Wilfork is that dude. This is really hard. Where's Rodney?
This is, and just don't ask him about boiled ribs, whatever you do.
No, don't ever do that.
We learned that lesson.
Do not ask about boiled ribs. Logan Mankins is my number 2 toughest player Bill Belichick's ever coached, okay? He played the entire 2011 season all the way to the Super Bowl with a torn ACL. 7th-time Pro Bowler. He only missed 15 games in his career. His career was 11 years, okay? He was a finalist for the NFL Hall of Fame. Brady once said nobody stood for Patriots football more than he did. And my number one toughest player under Bill Belichick is, Julian Edelman. Okay, this one's I don't think it's gonna surprise people, but he would just get killed. Get obliterated. He was Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry Maguire. I go over the top, I get killed, I make the play. He was 5'10", $195, blocking linebackers 17 weeks a year and never backing down. He was a 7th-round pick at quarterback, plays in the slot, wins 3 Super Bowl. He's the toughest player he's ever coached. Argue with me. Bye, Hamilton. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest Up and Adams content right on YouTube.